Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Pick and Roll Podcast. I am your host, Deondre Hawkins. With me today, finally, I got this fucking man out of the bed for whatever the fuck he was doing. I've been waiting for this motherfucker for probably about a month now. But I finally got my co-host, everybody, Mr. Ryan Fusco. Fusco Face. What's going on, my guy?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Sorry, I've been very busy at work, but I'm excited to, talk about the latest sports topics.
Hey, look, man, everyone's been waiting for us, me and you, because me doing it individually, it's good, but they're waiting for us to that dynamic duo to be doing these podcasts, So I'm excited to finally get your ass on the show. But hey, man, we're gonna roll right into it. Recent news: top 5 in the NBA draft. Chet Holmgren, the Oklahoma City Thunder general manager Sam Presti ruled him out for the 2022-23 season. How do you feel about Chet getting injured?
Well, when I first heard this, I was somewhat surprised because, a lot of guys playing pro-ams these days. He got hurt playing the Seattle pro-am. I think Jason Tatum, LeBron were all there playing. He got hurt. I think it was something with his foot. And they said he'd be out for the season. So initially I was, it didn't look that bad when I watched it the first time. You never know with stuff like that, though, and how big he is, how young he is. So they probably just ruled him out for the whole season just to be safe. He's a young guy. You don't have to worry about it. Then I started thinking a little bit more about it, and I saw a couple things on Twitter talking about, he could possibly come back before, but they didn't want to because they want, supposedly, everyone's going after this kid from France, Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", first-round pick from France. Kid's like 17 years old, can shoot, drive, do everything. I think that's what the Spurs were doing as well, trading Murray away this year. So I think a lot of guys are going after him, and I think they're looking a little bit into the future. And I don't think they mind, I don't know if they were happy that he got hurt. But I don't think they mind, buying a year, letting Giddy play a little bit more, having Shai, all them, and then hopefully getting, a top 5 pick and really rounding out that squad. So at first was shocked, but I can't say I'm surprised that he's going to be sitting out all year.
I mean, can you look at that roster? Like you said, you got, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's obviously all-star level right now. He's coming off an injury this past year. You got Luguentz Dort, who's actually been a big surprise. They signed him to a contract extension this past summer. And then, you add guys like you said, with Chet, and then, with the Victor, with the all of them getting rid of their picks. Multiple teams, as you said, are trying to take that chance into getting him in the draft. Hopefully they land him. But I feel like with the NBA, you got to have some reps. You have to. I mean, I guess, yes. I mean, they're looking on the safe side and they're looking for a future because they are a rebuilding team. Don't get me wrong, they're a really young team. But in my personal opinion, you do need reps. I mean, look at Zion. I mean, he needed reps. He needed reps. And when he got those reps, he performed. And unfortunately, he got another injury again. And then again, now we're looking to see what he can do. But I feel like it was a misfortunate injury for Chet. I mean, the way it happened, too. Did you see the way it happened? I mean, yeah. LeBron, I mean, of course, out of all the people, it was LeBron James who we got hurt against. I mean, he's driving head down to the rim, try to do like a little side step, Euro step. And I mean, he contested the layup pretty well when he was straight up, walled up, all up in the air, but obviously landed pretty wrong. But I feel like as a guy like Chet, you need some reps, especially being his rookie year.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't think it's not uncommon for, top picks to not play their first year. Just thinking about like Blake Griffin, I believe, did he play a few games, or was it his second year, I think, that he got hurt? Something like that, pretty early on, where he missed a whole season. Same thing with Ben Simmons, too, I believe, didn't play his rookie year. Now, those guys aren't necessarily superstars now. They have their own issues. It's not a rep issue for them anymore. but I think he should be okay since a lot of guys, come to the NBA at 18, 19, 20 now anyways. They've got a lot more years to get a lot of reps under their belt, so I don't see it as a huge problem. I mean, he was trying to get reps in at the Pro-Am, so do
I mean,
those count as reps or do those not count?
those definitely count as reps. I think we can turn to this topic to another swing because I would ask, like, we've seen in recent tweets and posts going out there that NBA players need to take more time into developing their game, but also they need to do more for the community as far as like playing in pro-am games, playing a lot of pickup basketball games. Because I had this topic, this discussion the other day, and it is getting expensive now as far as going to games. I mean, to watch the Lakers game, you're going to pay at least $400 to $500 at least if you want to. I mean, a decent seat. And that's not even like mid-level. I mean, mid-level is just the prices are ridiculous. So I think the question is, should these guys be taking a chance and playing in these games, in these pro-am games?
Yeah, I think it's become more popular recently. You see a lot more guys doing it now. I mean, guys like Kobe would play in things like the Drew League. The Drew League's, been around for forever, and you see, top stars play a few games in them. I think last year, a couple years ago, James Harden played in it with DeMar and all of them. You see a lot of top level guys playing in it. And they're not playing really hard. I don't have a problem with most of them playing in it. I mean, this is the first time you see some type of real major injury. I think they're pretty good at, knowing how hard to push themselves and knowing how to not get hurt. You don't see them, banging down low a lot or anything like that. They're mainly just jacking up threes and, doing it for the fans. I know DeJounte Murray talked about that, having kids who can't afford to go to these games be able just to go to the Pro-Am and watch them. So I don't have a huge problem with them doing that. They're good enough players to, if they're not playing against 24-hour fitness dudes, they're playing against guys that, played Division I at some point, play overseas now in these Pro-Ams. So I don't have a huge problem with it. Now, if it becomes a trend, will some NBA GM say, I don't want you guys playing in these things? Could they stop them even if they wanted to from playing in these things? I'm not sure. I guess it's just something we'll have to watch, from summer to summer to see how active some of these guys are in these things.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm all for, like you said, for these guys playing these pro-ams, like you said, the Drew League, the Seattle Pro-Am. It's because, there's a lot of kids that look up to these NBA players, these greats like LeBron. I mean, even like all-stars like DeJounte Murray. I mean, he brought a lot of intensity in those pro-ams. I mean, we've seen him going back and forth with Banchero from Duke, who is now currently on the Orlando Magic. But it's a good feeling to see that, that now we're taking a sudden switch into that dynamic of basketball. Now we're seeing a lot of these guys taking a chance like LeBron. I mean, I don't think he's ever done something like that in his career. I mean, it is awesome to see that he's loving to give back to the community. But if everyone watching this podcast right now, yes, we're big basketball. Me and him, we play college level basketball. But if you do not know this man, Ryan Fusco, he is the UFC guru right here. I mean, he can name woman, weight class, man, any division, any weight class. This man knows it from head to toe. And I mean, without this man, I wouldn't really been into the UFC. Excuse me. But we recently seen these previous fights this past weekend with a surprising knockout from Leon Edwards in the 5th round with that surprising leg kick to Kamaru Usman. Talk to me about your feelings about that fight, Fusco.
Yeah, so it was a great fight, I think. Leon, obviously the big head kick to win at the end. Everybody counted him out. I mean, the commentary booth was counting him out at the end. I was counting him out. I thought it was over. I was on my phone. I wasn't even watching the last couple minutes of the round. There was, he looked lifeless in the 3rd and 4th round, and then just to have that spectacular head kick was amazing. But I think looking back at the whole fight, I mean, this was the first time too Usman's ever been taken down in the UFC. The first, if you the Colby Covington takedown maybe took him down, maybe he didn't, whatever. But this is the first one that will actually be counted as a takedown. Leon took him down in the first round, which was very surprising. And Kamaru controlled the majority of this fight. Round 2, 3, and 4 were not close at all. I think the second round, maybe it was the third, was close to a 10-8. It was just domination from Usman. And for Leon to, stick it out mentally and to throw that little fake left jab and high kick was a little bit when I saw that, I thought of your boy, your favorite fighter, Robert Whittaker, loves to do that kind of thing.
That's right. The Reaper, baby. The Reaper. Shout out the Reaper.
Reaper. Yes, Bobby Knuckles, who we'll get to here in a second. But I thought it was awesome. I thought the co-main event was awesome with Luke Rockhold and Paulo Costa. Luke Rockhold going out of his shield like that. I mean, he'd always been an exciting fighter back in Strikeforce, in the UFC as a champion. Just going out like that, the way he talked in the pre-fight press conferences and things like that, he just put it all out there against, Paulo, the dude is massive and he hits hard, and Rockhold's chin has been questioned a lot and he stuck it out. Didn't quit. He looked gassed for 13 minutes of that 15-minute fight. And it was just awesome to see. So I think that was a great card. Even the fight before that with Aldo and Merab didn't live up to the hype, whatever. It's always good to see Aldo out there, but I thought it was a great card in Utah, which, some people thought, why are you going to Utah? The crowd was great. It was awesome to see. And a lot of good takeaways from that.
So we know that, that UFC event just happened this past weekend. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see it. My ass was over there enjoying myself on a little vacay, which it was really great to have. But 2 weeks, if I'm correct, 2 weeks, we got an interesting fight coming up. A fight that was, I would say, unexpected, if I'm correct, with the this guy's a legend. We can call this man a UFC legend. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. We got Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Hey, look, man. I'm not like I said. The reason why I have this man here talk about UFC because he knows a lot more than I do as far as the UFC. But I do know when it comes to that fight right there, Nate Diaz is getting his ass whooped. I mean, come on, man. There's no chance. Dana White did that shit on purpose. He's done seeing Nate Diaz fight. I'm not done seeing Nate Diaz fight because every time he does fight, he brings energy. He brings excitement. He gets a crowd into it because he's tough as nails, man. But this dude comes out. He's a beast, man. This man, he's hungry. He's trying to prove to Dana White, the UFC fans, everything that it's his time for a title shot. But do you think that him fighting Nate Diaz will get him to that point?
I think this is just a stay busy fight for him. You can give him a title shot after this. You could have given him a title shot after he beat Burns the way he did, going through all that adversity and, showing he's not just, I only got one punch and then if it goes to deep waters, I'm done. I would 100% not mind seeing him get a title shot after this. The problem is, I think, going back to last week, is the timing of all this stuff now. Because since Usman lost, which none of us were expecting, really, I think he was a 5-1 favorite going into that. Now they're probably going to do an immediate rematch, probably in England, probably in like March, April sometime. So I think if Khamzat wins this fight, which, would be expected, I wouldn't count out Nate as much as, everybody else is. He's an experienced guy, never been knocked down. He hasn't been knocked down or knocked out in like 10 years or something like that. Ridiculous. I understand Khamzat's a different beast or whatever, but, I think Nate can stick it out. I don't know if he can stick it out for 5 rounds, but I think it'll be a great fight anyways. So if Khamzat wins, probably not a title shot next, which is fine. I think he has only had 11 or 12 pro fights. I'd like to see him fight somebody maybe like Colby Covington, who Dana said last weekend is looking for a fight, wants to fight. He might be waiting till after this one. So if you get Khamzat versus Colby, that'd tell you a lot about both guys and where they are at in their careers. It seems like a mismatch. I could come back on here after the fight and say, of course it was a mismatch, you never know till they get in there, but definitely excited to see it. Sad to see Nate go most likely after this. And it's just sad how sometimes the UFC, when they're done with you, they're really done with you. And, sad to see him possibly get knocked out his last fight against a guy he shouldn't be fighting. He should be fighting a legend. I mean, they would never do something like this to Cowboy, who they love.
Hold on. But this man knows I love my boy Donald Cowboy Cerrone. But when he fought McGregor, I mean, come on, man, I wasn't even fucking right. I mean, they just threw him in the ring and told him basically get your ass whooped.
Yeah, but at least he got paid a lot, and way more than Nate's getting paid for this, for sure, because he got part of the pay-per-view. I'm maybe a little bit of the pay-per-view, at least a lot more guaranteed money for fighting Conor. And I don't see, this is almost like a screw you from the UFC. Like, you went out of your contract, here, you can fight this dude nobody wants to fight. Literally nobody wanted to fight him. And Gilbert stepped up and took it, and now people have to fight him. So a little bit different scenario, I think, than Cowboy, but sucks to see him go.
And all right, we're gonna jump into this one too. One last topic for this UFC segment right here, but we already know my guy, Mr. Robert Whitaker, Mr. Bobby Knuckles, the Reaper. I mean, I'll back this man up any day of the week. I think he's one of the most spectacular middleweight fighters I've seen. I mean, he's a beast, man. And we see him, he's going up against Marvin Vettori, if I'm correct. Talk to me about that one. What do you expect out of that fight?
Yeah, so this is happening in a week, I believe. It's on the UFC Fight Night France card. So the headline fight is Cyril Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. A lot of people think that's a mismatch as well, but we'll see. So this is the co-main. Whitaker, I believe, is minus 225, something like that, to Vettori plus 200. I actually really like this fight. I think Vettori, his last fight against Paulo Costa, when he was going to miss weight, ended up being a light heavyweight fight at 205 instead of 185. And that dude is tough as hell. I mean, if Whitaker can finish Vettori after going through someone like Paulo, I would be extremely impressed. So I'm really excited for this fight. It's going to be weird kind of where both these guys go. Whoever wins this one, they've both lost twice to Izzy. And if Izzy's still the champion, I mean, Vettori could move up to 205. He looked fine there. I don't know if he wants to do that. Whitaker really can't. Whitaker's kind of stuck in the gatekeeper, number one contender. He's beaten most guys besides Vettori. This is why this fight is happening anyways. But he's beat all the rest of the top five guys. So I think it would be a great fight. And I'm just kind of more interested to see after the fight where both these guys go.
All right. We got a little bit of time left. I just got the little notification. Now we got 10 minutes. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into our last discussion. We got NFL season that's coming up in 2 weeks. If y'all don't know, me and this man, we're big time Philadelphia Eagles fans. Every year we praise the Eagles, even though we have some highlights, some ups and downs, which is expected being the Eagles fans. Unlike the Cowboys fans, don't get me started on that that fan base.
That's all downs, no ups.
But we're gonna go ahead and jump right into since we got 2 weeks coming up for the NFL season. We're gonna go ahead and do our picks for the division. We're gonna go from each division, and we're just, like I said, give our picks. So we got the AFC East. The Bills are favored in the AFC East, but me personally, I don't know, man. I'm about to go with the Patriots. I think I'm about to believe in Mac Jones. I believe in Mac Jones. I believe in all the, they did a lot of free agent moves this offseason. Don't know really. I don't know too much of the Patriots. I do know the Bills got a really strong offense as far as like with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. And their defense obviously is above average every single year. But I don't know, something about the Patriots and that Belichick system, man. I have a feeling that the Dolphins are favored more than the Patriots. Something doesn't sit right with me in that division. I think the Patriots might take that one.
I don't think those are terrible odds. I think they're plus 500 to win the division, but I think it's Josh Allen's division. The Bills are, Super Bowl favorites, I believe. So I think I'm just still going to go with the Bills. Too high powered of an offense.
That's my unpopular opinion right there. We're going to go with. All right, we got the AFC North. Like, me and him had this conversation earlier. This division is tough, man. I mean, it's really tough. With Deshaun Watson coming back in Week 10, I'm a believer in Jacoby Brissett, man. I mean, he's a veteran. He's been a backup for quite some time, but he has some moments where he has been a starter. He has won some games as a starter, and I believe in Brissett. I think he can get the job done for those few weeks, enough to where Deshaun Watson comes back. They have enough time to make some noise in the AFC North. They just signed Amari Cooper, who I'm pretty sure is glad he left that terrible franchise, the Cowboys. I'm going to have to go with the Browns in this one, man. I mean, I don't know. You know what? Nah, I'll take that back. I like Joe Burrow, man. I like Joe Burrow. And they're really young. The Bengals are really young. It's a toss. I'm going to stick with the Browns.
I was surprised that the Ravens are favored in this because I was going to pick the Ravens as an upset team. Like, I thought the Bengals would still be favored in this division, but I really think, Lamar hasn't signed that big deal he's waiting for. I know his mom's his agent. And if he gets a big deal like that with his mom as his agent, I mean, all the number cruncher nerds like myself, they're going to learn that they don't need us. They can do their deals on their own. So,
sure.
Wouldn't be good for my personal career, I don't think, but I think I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson, I think he gained 10, 15 pounds. He said something like that.
Yeah.
Probably still fast as hell. It doesn't matter how much that guy weighs. I mean, he's a freak.
He's got that Madden speed.
For sure.
All right. AFC South. I'm going with the Colts. I mean, they're minus, when I'm looking at it, they're minus 130, 125, 130. I'm going with the Colts. I mean, that division, the Jaguars are rebuilding, Texans rebuilding, Titans, they got rid of. They have quarterback problems with the Titans. I mean, they don't know if they want to keep Tannehill. They don't know if they want to bring Malik Willis up in there. Malik Willis has had a really good preseason. I mean, he's had some moments where it's like, oh, man, he can be the future of this team if Ryan Tannehill doesn't, stick with it. But with Matt Ryan coming to the Colts, no rebuilding that. Still the same roster. The only thing has been is a quarterback change. Jonathan Taylor, we know how he is as a running back. I mean, he can be like offensive player of the year, I believe, for that conference. He's a beast. I'm gonna go with the Colts.
I agree. Not much else to say. I mean, we took the Titans' best receiver. He's on a better team now, in a better place. So right. I think Colts as well.
Forgot about A.J. Brown. Shout out A.J. Brown coming to the Bird game. All right, man. We got to kind of speed this up. We're going to roll through. We got 3 minutes left, but we're going to go in the AFC West. I'm going with the Chiefs, man. Actually, you know what? No. This is crazy. The Raiders are plus 700. The Broncos are favored more than that. But the Raiders actually have a lot of weapons this year, I believe. With Hunter Renfrow, Derek Carr, they got Devontae Adams, Darren Waller. Josh Jacobs has been up in hill battle with him because they played him a lot in the preseason, which is kind of scary, knowing that they're not really going with him as a starter. But I don't know. I think I'm about to go with the Raiders.
I see a lot of people picking the Chargers in this division. I think I'm going to go Broncos. Pretty slept on. Russell Wilson. Defense is pretty good. A lot of people always say if you have a different quarterback on that team, they're Super Bowl contenders. Well, now you've got a great quarterback on that team. So I think I'll go with the Broncos.
He said he's going with that Broncos country. Let's ride. NFC East, ain't no need to discuss this. Bird game all day.
Nothing else to say.
NFC North. Nothing else to say. Green Bay all the way. I mean, minus 190 in the odds. Green Bay all the way.
I do like Justin Fields, and maybe one day when Aaron's not there, but clearly the Packers division, I think.
NFC South. We got the Buccaneers, Saints, Panthers, Falcons. Saints, they got the Honey Badger now as a strong safety. That's a nice little weapon they got there. But the quarterback, I mean, I don't believe in famous Jameis or Taysom Hill. I'm sorry. More on Buccaneers. I mean, Tom Brady, he knows how to get the job done every single year.
Yeah, and they added Julio this year.
That's
I know he
right.
was
They
really
sure
bad.
did.
He was bad last year. Can't be bad with Tom Brady. So I think just Buccaneers.
The last division right here, we got the NFC West. A lot of people saying the 49ers got some uphill this year. I mean, I love what Jimmy G did for the franchise, but they know their high hopes on Trey Lance. But I'm sorry, man. The Rams, I mean, just when you look at that roster from offense to defense, from linemen to any position on that team, I mean, it doesn't even sound right on paper compared to other teams. I mean, I'm going with the Rams in that division.
I think I'd have to agree. I mean, Trey Lance hasn't played since like high school, basically. So how can they be so close in odds to the Rams? I'd rather take the Rams, the sure thing.
What we're going to see, we're going to keep these picks in mind. We got this episode, and it's going to be posted. So we'll go down at the end of the season. We'll see how we did as far as our picks. But once again, everyone, this is another episode of the Pick and Roll Podcast. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm your host, Deondre Hawkins. Alongside me today, my co-host, my guy, Mr. Ryan Fusco. Everyone take care.
See ya.